Joining us on the line now is Zarifa Abida. She's a violist, co-conductor and spokesperson for Zohra, the first all-female orchestra in the Muslim world. Many of the girls in Zohra are forced to marry, but Zarifa yearns to study, travel and explore her independence. Her so-called bad girl identity puts her at odds with her culture and her family. She's an activist for girls and education and has done a TED Talk called Spreading My Wings Through Music. Her book, Playing for Freedom, shares her story. Welcome to the show, Zarifa.
Hey.
Hi.
So happy to be here. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. It's lovely to have you with us. I hope you're not going to disappear again. That will be disastrous, because I'm really looking forward to chatting with you. So thank you so much for joining us. I did do a big long introduction. I don't know how much of it you heard, but it's great to have you on the show to share your amazing story. How did you come to write this book?
Thank you so much, first of all, for having me, and I'm sure the introduction was amazing. It is a long story. I started writing in 2018, and it took a while to finish the book. And there was a moment that I didn't want it to publish because I was so scared to put out my story in the world. But then in 2020, I lost a very dear friend of mine, Natasha, in a bomb blast. And when she died, it was kind of awakening. I was like, I live in this country, and I'm going back to this country in 2 years. And the fate of Natasha and my friends who died in the last 20 years in different bomb blasts, in target shootings, like, I'm one of them, and I am going there. So why not put this story out for the world when I have the opportunity?
Yeah.
And the reason that I wanted the book to come out was because I think that the West has learned or has read Afghanistan and through a Western lens. And I wanted people to read Afghans and Afghanistan through an Afghan. Because just an Afghan can represent Afghanistan and people of Afghanistan and Afghan women in the most authentic way. And by sharing my story, I think that's the most authentic way that I could do my part for my country, for my people, for my fellow girls who are not allowed to go to school today.
Yeah.
That's how I wanted my story to be out.
Yeah. So why are you referred to as a kind of bad girl then?
So I have always stated, and I have always been, felt it, that war is a very ugly thing, and war destroys education, war destroys traditions, war destroys culture, war destroys everything in a human being's life. And in Afghanistan, we had not war just for the last 20 years. We had war for decades, and decades of war destroys culture of music, culture of art, culture of education. And I don't blame my people for the fact that they cannot understand or they cannot see a girl playing viola or holding a baton and making beautiful music. But there's always a beginning for it. And I think because I was starting this journey of music, I was starting to hold a baton, I was starting to play a viola, to introduce the beautiful world of music to my people, it definitely was not an easy thing for people to observe. And that's why I became the bad girl. And also, it's more than music only. Even education was making girls a bad girl. And I think that I had not just an art study to go to school. I had an urge to play music. I had an urge to wear what I want to wear. I had the urge to speak what I thought. I had the urge to dance freely. So all these characteristics of being like a free bird made me a bad girl.
Gosh. And did you have any friends that were doing those things with you, or were you on your own wanting to be different and wanting to have freedom?
I think that every girl in my country as far as I know, and as far as I've met my friends, we all have the same enthusiasm, the same energy, the same dreams. But some of us get scared very quickly, and we accept the fate that is written by the society norms, by the families, by whoever around us. And some of us really fight it. And I'm lucky that all of them fought for their freedom, fought for their education, fought for equality and freedom as much as I did. And I can name them for hours here. But it was not just me, for a lot of me. And I'm sure that even today that girls are not allowed to go to school. I'm sure that even today there are thousands and thousands of Zarifa, even more courageous, more rebel, more hopeful than I was.
Gosh, so do you think the situation has got worse then in Afghanistan with regards to how girls particularly are treated and lack of education and things?
I think the word worse is not justifying the situation that women of Afghanistan lives today in Afghanistan. Just imagine millions of us are not allowed to hold a pen and to read a book and to write what you think. You are not allowed to walk outside without a man. You are not allowed to go to university. In the last 20 years, a lot of soldiers died, men, and today their widows are in Afghanistan, and they are women, and they have children, and they are not allowed to work. It is not worse. It is just. I don't have a word to describe the situation.
No, it's just terrible. It's awful. It's not right. I mean, do all of, I know you said some of the women kind of accept their fate and are scared to speak out, but do they kind of accept that it's okay, that there's no point doing anything about it and just kind of get on with their lives, whatever they've given, or are people wanting to speak out and try and make changes?
When I came to New York in 2022, since then till now, one thing that I have realized so much about people from my part of the world and people from this part of the world, I have realized that how much women of Afghanistan are brave and resilient and hopeful. Even today, like, there is no media. The world has gone silent about us. The way they left us on 15th August 2021, after that, they went silent completely. It is like everybody is like forgot that there is a geography called Afghanistan on this earth, and millions of people live over there. But media outrage, everything is gone. But even today, my friends are going on the street and they are chanting freedom, work, education. They're chanting this, and they're being imprisoned, and they are being tortured. But they still, even today, after 2.5 years, after almost 3 years, they are still going out there, and they're still shouting for their rights, right? There are girls right now that I'm teaching them online. They just want to learn English. They want to learn more, and they want to get a scholarship around the world. There are artists who are painting at their home, and they are not able to share their art. And I'm in contact personally with each one of them. There are musicians who are playing music underground because music is banned in Afghanistan. So people of Afghanistan are resilient, but it's just unfortunate the way everything was left behind. My generation was different. My generation was coming. My generation was just starting to go back to Afghanistan and get the power and change something and bring change in that country. But that opportunity was taken away from us. Like, all my friends, they are graduating universities this year, last year, next year. They're graduating, and they are around the world working as veterans. They're working as, these jobs are amazing. I'm not judging the job, but these people who graduated universities, they could do something for that country. But the world just didn't let us. Like, my generation is different the generation before. My generation fought with pen and books. My generation didn't use weapons. My generation didn't take guns and bullets to fight the extremists. I remember when I was in Kabul, there were several bomb blasts happening in schools, in educational centers, and the next day we all were going back to our classes. Because we were like, we are not going to lose to extremists. We are not going to lose to the terrorist groups. And we were still studying. Even Taliban took over. Still, people from my neighborhood, they were going to educational centers because schools and universities were closed, and they bombed them in 2022. And more than 60 people died there, my generation. So they didn't give they just didn't give the opportunity to my generation to do something. And now we all are around in exile.
It's just horrendous. It's I'm lost for words. I mean, it's not reported, is it? You don't see it in the mainstream media. What's going on? You know, it's very selective what we're told, and you know the general living conditions of young people, particularly in Afghanistan and under Taliban rule, and how people are living and what they're not able to do as opposed to able to do. A lot of people in the West, we just don't hear about it.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate and sad part of the world. I remember in 15th August 2021, for the first few days, I was completely numb. I didn't know what's happening. But after that, I was so angry at the world to be silent. But more than being angry, I was so heartbroken to see the feminists around the world to be so quiet. Until today, they are quiet about it. When I was growing up, I have looked up to a lot of feminists from the West and East and Islamic world. All those feminists taught me something, that feminism is about equality. And if there is one woman suffering because her gender, every other woman has to stand up for them. And today, millions of women are suffering, are literally dying. Their dreams, their hopes, and everything is taken away from them. And it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's millions of them. And yet everyone is so quiet. Everyone is living their life just the way they are. And I'm just so in awe of how much our ancestor feminists fought for our right today to talk about education, and yet everyone doesn't care. I was really heartbroken about that mostly. Yeah. But not just feminists, not just education activists, not just media outlets, not just anyone. Everyone has gone back to their normal life. And sometimes I'm like, maybe they are doing it, they're silent because it's Afghanistan, but that's why my story is so important. That's why this book is so important. I want people to read it and understand that women of Afghanistan have hearts just like you all. They have brain just like any other human being in any part of the world. And yet they are not being taken seriously or understood as a human being, because they are in Afghanistan. They were born in Afghanistan.
Is it difficult? You know what I mean? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's not their choice, is it? It's the circumstances that they've been born into, for sure. It's a horrific thing to think about. And what do you see, if any, that the solution can be? Is it that do all these women want to leave Afghanistan but feel like they can't, or would they prefer to stay in their home country and for things to change? How difficult is it for women to leave the country?
You know, sometimes even today, sometimes I'm thinking about it and I'm like, I wish I had the power to take all these women from my country, and take it out of that country and leave it for the men to rule men and fight for power and kill each other for power. Just take out all these women out of the country because the entire politics is on them, the entire ideology is on them, everything is on them. And I'm like, sometimes I really wish I could do that, but I know that it's just a wish. It's not possible. And coming back to your question, I know women of Afghanistan, they will fight for their right in whatever way they can. Like, even if the world has forgotten, they are doing their part. And the solution is that
oh no! Hello, were you still there? You disappeared for a moment there.
I'm here, but I'm losing the words to describe it. It's just unfortunate and sad.
Yeah.
I don't know what we are going to do. I know I'm living in New York, and I've never wanted to be a refugee. I never wanted to be a refugee because I love my country, and I know that every single Afghan loves Afghanistan with their soul and heart. Everyone wants to do something for Afghanistan, but the fact that Taliban are in power, I cannot get this through my head and heart and soul because they killed my friends. I cannot forgive them.
No.
I just cannot.
Do you think that more women could have more opportunities to leave the country and make a home elsewhere like you have? Is that really difficult to do or not?
To make home in any other part of the world is home, I would say. Home is always country. Home is always our home. But to get out for education, yes. I would want every girl, every young boy to get out and to get good education, to arm themselves full of knowledge, and we will go back to our country one day, and we will bring the change that none of our previous generation did, thanks to them.
Yeah. I want to just ask you about the World Economic Forum in Davos in Switzerland in 2017. You were 18 then, and you were a guest and stood up and gave a speech. What was that like?
Oh, that was a good experience. World Economic Forum was a very eye-opening experience for me. It was more than a concert to me. I was not just holding a baton and standing in front of the beautiful first female orchestra of Afghanistan and performing to the world leaders and to the world and representing the beautiful part of Afghanistan that had been hidden by the power behind violence, poverty, and all these news that is being made by the Western medias. I was proud. I was really proud that I can show that part of my country, and I was hoping that the world could see that this is Afghanistan, and let's bring this Afghanistan. I was 18 years old. I was just learning about the world, but the world leaders know, and yet still they just left it. So World Economic Forum was a really, really good experience. That's one of my proud moments, I guess.
And how about being involved in this all-female orchestra? It must just be fabulous. It's obviously a kind of lifeline for you, music.
It was, Zohra was more than just an orchestra to me. It was a definition of life that I was always missing before that. It was an image of Afghanistan that I was always trying to find, but I was not able to find and define it. But when I became conductor of the Zohra Orchestra, and when I started playing in the orchestra, I started finding words for whatever I imagined, for whatever I felt towards my country, towards the future, towards dreams, towards hope. So it was more than that. We were like 31 girls from different parts of Afghanistan, different ethnicity. We had from Nuristan, from Bamiyan, from Helmand, from Kunar, from Kabul, from Ghazni. We all looked different. We all were from different parts of Afghanistan, and we all were coming together, and we were playing one beautiful folklore Afghan music together. That was the entire definition of Afghanistan to me. I wanted all people to come together like we did. Zohra Orchestra was the definition of life to me. It was very, very special and precious.
Yeah, I bet. Well, it's been a real pleasure having you with us on the show today, Zarifa Abida. Thank you so much for joining us. And if listeners want to read your story, they must get a copy of the book, Playing for Freedom, The Journey of a Young Afghan Girl. It's available on our website, tre.radio. And I wish you, Zarifa, and all of the Afghan women a bright future. I can only hope and pray for you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this conversation, and thank you for hearing me out. And I hope everyone who reads my book, they imagine Afghanistan with the beauties and with the brokenness that Afghanistan holds. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zarifa. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.